Started with call to order. First item is acceptance of minutes from 12/4, but also November 8th, since we didn't have a quorum on December.
I move we accept both sets of minutes.
I'll second.
On favor? Andrew's gonna try to join us.
You should be there. Are you there?
Are
If
you
you
there?
unmute yourself. There you
Yep,
are.
I'm here.
Andrew, hi.
No picture?
Feeling
Hi,
better,
everybody.
hopefully?
Oh, it's just a head cold, not as bad as Paul's got it, but yeah, just kind of a lot of stuff going around.
Oh,
He
it
sounds
is.
Yeah, I was sick the week before Christmas too, so two
Oh,
times
that
in
was-
one winter sucks.
Oh, no, that's awful. All right, just some things that I had on the agenda here. Maybe want to just bring everybody up to date, the doors, CMP, bell tower, anything else that do we know if the doors have arrived? Have you heard anything, Andrew?
Last I knew, they were ordered. I don't know if they've arrived. We approved the final submittal probably back in end of October, I think, on the doors, but usually the lead time's 2 to 3 months anyways.
Right.
So that's the last I heard on the doors. CMP, I think last time we talked, somebody had to check with CMP. Jeremy, I think maybe had to call them about Justin, yeah, about the 3-phase versus 1 phase that they had.
And I think we've got a work order, but because of that storm, I think everything's pushed back.
That's right.
Because I think Crawford, oh, what's his name? Is that who it is?
Yeah.
The electrician.
Yeah.
Asked whether we had heard anything, and I
Right.
don't think we have. I
And
think we're
that's
just
right, there
waiting.
was an email that
Yeah.
discussed the fact that we were on the schedule, everything was all set, but then with the storm coming in. Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
so it sounds like that's at least on their radar.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
okay, great. And on the bell tower, I spoke with Eric Doobie from Trillium, who was doing the structural for the building, and he said that the 6x6 posts at the 4 corners was fine. When they're ready to put it back on, we're gonna have to either do a detail or come to the site and talk to whoever's gonna fasten that and just make sure that the flashing is consistent up the bottom of the post, probably at least 4 to 6 inches, because Eric is mostly worried about, because that's open to the outside, water, ice buildup and stuff around the corners of the posts getting down in. So the flashing has got to be pretty tight there. And he also said that at the base of the bell tower, where the structural platform is, to raise the enclosure piece about an inch and a half off of the bottom of that platform, off the top of that platform, so that nothing can build up on the inside of the
Right,
wall
so it has-
area.
Right. Way to
And
evacuate.
we
water.
flash down over that, and from the ground you'll never see that gap, but it would basically just be like a sort of mock scupper,
Yep,
without any
yep.
actual extrusion. Yeah, so he also said that if there was other wood, I know at some point Nickerson O'Day was potentially looking for like some old barn wood, like heavy timber type stuff, maybe to not use the 6x6 pressure treated, but to have some old rugged wood. He said that would be fine, as long as they're like 6x6, 8x8, something like that. The sizing of that can go up, or
8x8. So we could probably put a call out for,
We have some beams over there because we'd gotten them thinking we could use them.
right,
That Steve went down and got from the people that own the quick
Quick
shop
shop.
from Lanky Taylor's barn.
yeah.
So,
Right.
so we do have some, I think they're like 8x8s over there, but I'm not sure how long.
Right,
and I can't remember even how many. I know we had at least two, but
so we guess we'd have to know what lengths we would need.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a way to catalog those pieces, just like two 20-foot or 15-foot, whatever, 8x8s, and then maybe a picture with them so that we could check for rot or something.
Yeah.
Eric said that the old barnwood works great because it's already weathered and dried out and everything, and that it would
Yeah.
perform really well up there anyways. So
Yeah.
if we have that, it could be a small savings than buying,
Okay.
6x6 pressure treated.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, if we get in there at some point to do the walkthrough with the select board. And we can do some measurements then, because obviously we need to do it during daylight hours since we,
I don't have my mining hat.
yeah, exactly, have a mining light, yeah, so, we'll figure that out, because we still need to come up with a date for that once.
Right.
Yeah, so. Okay.
So, and then another thing that haven't heard back on from Steve Burton. I messaged him after last month's meeting about giving us an update on, certificate of occupancy costs, as we
Okay, you haven't
could
gotten that yet.
potentially haven't gotten that yet. He said he's been on it. I'll ping him again and see if I can get something out of him. But yeah, so it's on his radar. He said he was working on it. That'll give us that cost of like baseline if we need to go for more fundraising or a loan or a grant or whatever it is. Like this is that number. So hopefully we can get that soon. I'll make a note to myself to email him.
And I think we had asked to give us a number that would bring us to completion.
Two numbers?
Yeah, well, either
Two
the,
numbers.
but yeah, to bring to completion so that if we were going to put it on the warrant and Steve Eldridge is gonna be working on some of those matching loans, if we needed, 500,000 to bring us to completion, and so we were
Versus just COI.
yeah, as opposed to just getting a certificate of occupancy. So if we were gonna ask for that number, if we're looking at some of those federal grants for matching, if it was 500,000, we're looking to put 250,000 on the, warrant, those types of things.
Right, and also so we don't have to go to the well again.
Right,
and
yeah.
again.
That would be the
So we-
worst.
yeah,
thing to do.
Exactly. So we have a number to bring us to completion.
Occupancy,
So-
but then
But then
also,
also.
yeah, so like.
We have a minimum, but then we have the
yeah,
maximum.
Yeah, so
too,
do we go for
too.
the maximum now as opposed to, okay, the minimum and then in another year,
Yeah.
say, okay, now we
Right.
want this.
No.
I think that's why we want the both
yeah,
numbers.
Exactly, yeah. So that we can,
Okay.
doing it, we're gonna find out what we need to complete it, and if we're putting it on the warrant, it'll be completed,
Right.
Yeah. so.
Okay. That sounds familiar. So I may have asked that on the previous email in December, but I'll be sure to include that.
Yeah, I think we had, at the
talked about
last
it, yeah.
meeting, we talked about it, but then I brought it up at the select board meeting and said, well, if we're gonna ask for a number, we want to have it at completion. So then there were some emails after the select board meeting saying, we need the number for completion.
I saw you write it down in your notes, Andrew, so I know you wrote it down, that we wanted
Okay.
two numbers.
Yeah,
I must have. But I'll just circle back and just ask, just remind him of those two targets.
Great.
And do you know, so I know they're not on site now, Nick O'Day. Are they coming back springtime at all to finish anything up, or are they pretty much
This
done on
is-
site?
Oh, I left it at the house because they didn't think we talked about that. Yes, they're, oh, I wish I had it. Soon as the weather turns, they will be back to, finish phase one. And hopefully we have some information as to whether or not we can continue, because they'd like to. Yeah, but they kind of need to know.
Yeah.
Because they can't, hold off on.
Okay.
And the doors will hopefully be. here,
Yeah,
and then
so
they
they've
can
got the
start
doors, the
working.
rest of the masonry.
Trim, because I don't know that they finished all the
Right,
fascia.
right. So there are,
And then
there are
the bell
things-
tower.
Yeah, and the bell tower. So
Yeah.
there are still those things that,
They'll be back.
yeah,
Once the weather's better.
yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, when they get back on site, it'll be
I
good
can-
probably for me
yeah.
or Paul or all of us to just circle back with all of them in person
Yeah.
and just go through the building and stuff as well.
What I'll do is I'll send along what he had sent to me. Just saying, that they were gonna, not be there after a certain time and whatnot, but the plan was subsequent to that, so I'll just send that along to everybody.
Awesome, thank
Um,
you.
Yeah. And we had talked about the anticipated operating budget. We're thinking around $500 a month. Is that still kind of taste right? Is that between, we'll have
Yeah,
lighting, water, sewer, fuel?
yeah.
And are we having, Dennis Price, is he overseeing?
Probably, but we'll, that'll be a topic of discussion of who's gonna schedule it and how is it gonna be,
Right.
because Dennis developed the forms for Cumston for renting the different spaces and
Mhm.
coming up with a number that makes sense for the rental of the space. So, if he's scheduling it, plus the other topic of discussion is how is the rec, whether it's through rec or whether it's just straight through the town as a space. So that is still, gonna be discussed,
Hashed over and worked
Yeah,
out.
figure out what pot that falls into.
Right,
So,
okay.
yeah.
Are we
Yeah.
done with Andrew?
But this,
I have just one thing for Andrew. Steve Eldridge asked me if anybody had heard from Lark, because he's called them a couple times since our last meeting and he hasn't gotten any response. Because
Okay,
he's still trying to get that preliminary plan that he
Yeah.
can use. So, and I know that you said that one of them had been sick with Lyme
Yeah,
or something, so.
Mike was diagnosed with Lyme, and I spoke with him before Christmas. He was going for another project with us, so he was sending us some information. And then over Christmas break, he got a concussion, and
Jeez,
yeah, so this guy is not having a good year. But
No,
we wished him well when we got back from vacation and found out, and then yeah, haven't talked to him a whole lot since then. Obviously, I think he's been not working so much, but I have been in contact with someone from his office who I can just ask her, what the deal is, and if he can give them a call when he feels ready, give you guys a call when he feels ready. His business partner, Rob, I don't know if you met him, because I think Mike was just going to work on this. But if Mike's obviously having, medical complications and life complications, so I might be able to get you on Rob's radar. And I don't know if he's spoken with any of you, I think he was at the site walk because they were down
Yeah.
in Sebago. So they said they were going to stop in Monmouth on the way back. So I think Rob was at the site walk, but I don't think he's spoken with any of you. So I could give you Rob's information and just give Rob shoot him an email and just say, hey, these guys, they need to talk to somebody at Lark.
Yeah, well, I know there were 3 people there. There were 2 men and a girl. So
Yep.
that
Yeah,
came.
Charisse is she just graduated from
Mhm.
landscape
Yep.
architecture, so she's interning there right now. So I wouldn't want to push that onto her if
Exactly.
that's not in her comfortability. But
Yeah.
I'll talk to Rob about it. I'll send Rob an
Okay.
email. I haven't worked with him much because usually we interface with Mike, but he's a
Is
business
Rob the
partner.
one with glasses? And
They both have glasses, but he's older.
Oh,
Yeah, he's
older,
white
okay.
hair.
Well, I didn't want to
Yeah.
say white hair,
Ageism.
That he's a fine young gentleman. How's that with glasses?
So, yes, all right. So we did meet both of them, so, yeah.
Okay, great.
One other thing is we are obviously thinking about the open house for the select board.
Mhm.
And a couple of questions that I have is, would we be able to do, you know, I know we have the drawings for, you know, the plans, you know, for the building. But for doing something like that, should we be doing other things too? I don't know how extensive this is, what the select board is interested in, but having an idea with, you know, what each room,
Mm.
a write-up of each, I don't know, I'm just.
Well, I think
haven't
if
done
we have
this.
the plans there, plus. I mean, the plans are on the website that Jeff
Yeah.
made too, so. If we have the plans, we can say this is the archive room and that will be, this is the footprint of it and. You know, you'll be able to use it for X, Y, and Z. This is the footprint of the catering kitchen, the bathrooms, and then obviously the hall space. And show them that. I think mainly nobody's been inside of it really other
Yeah.
than us.
Yeah.
And they've really only seen the outside and having them see the inside, I think it will go a long way to
Oh, I
explain, you
agree.
know, the space that we'll have.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, so, and we're shooting for not only the select board, but or no?
I think mainly the select board and then Justin and Lori and, you know, whoever wants to see it mainly from the core of people that
Right.
it has to get past
Yeah,
the select
right.
board to get on the warrant,
Right.
so.
Would it be in our best interest to like other, like, I see you say community, I'm not sure we should open it to the
Yeah.
community yet.
Well, that was
But,
a bit of a discussion at the
Right.
select board.
but I'm
is-
thinking, how about like community leaders, more like, you know, like the president of the Lions Club or King, they're head lion or king lions, and I'm not
Yeah.
joking. Or, you know, president of the school, chairperson of the school board, and, you know, other people who have committees perhaps
Mhm.
that might want to utilize the space as
Or
a meeting place.
exactly, like include Paul Furland
Mhm.
and Dan Roy,
Right.
you know.
Yes.
The department heads.
Right.
So.
Right.
they'll
So
know
department
that
heads
space.
and,
Yeah.
and
Right.
and organizations.
Right,
in
I'm
this
just,
area.
I'm thinking like to limit it because.
Yeah.
Of course. It's just an open space
Right.
right now, but to also get it so that other people that can spread the word. We need to support this, or we need to do this. I mean,
Right.
that would be my thought as opposed to open it to just community.
Yeah,
My thought for the open house for the community would be when it's
yes. When we're-
more finished.
Yeah, almost there, so.
Right.
So then what we should do is think about, because the select board kind of wants to get on that, so. Andrew, you wanna, I know it's a crazy time of year and whatnot, but you wanna throw out some dates? We can all kind of just communicate online what dates might be something that we can do, you know.
Are we thinking like February?
Yeah, I think
Probably
at this point,
February, I
we're
think it's
looking at
too,
February.
yeah, we couldn't, I don't
Okay.
think we can do January, so if
Yeah.
there's some time, you know, daylight hours. You know, particular times, throw out a few for us to work around. For a week, say anytime this week or something like that, Andrew, so because we'd love to, you know, have you guys there to. Help describe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. The first week of February, I'll be in Memphis, and anytime after that, I would be fine. Paul's
Okay.
obviously got a busier schedule than me. I can check our calendar real quick and see if he's got some stuff scheduled through February yet. The week of, well, both the second and third week of February are pretty open.
the third week is school vacation, so,
That could be hard to get
Yeah.
people.
yeah, so maybe the week of the 12th.
Yeah, any day that's not Tuesday looks good for the 12th.
Okay.
let's see, what is this? That's after hours, okay.
17, so
Yeah,
just
the-
not today.
Yep. And
Okay.
as soon as you have even some tentative dates, I can just put in like a placeholder in our calendar too, so he
Okay.
doesn't book anything without me knowing.
Okay. That sounds good. Try to get something out tomorrow or Wednesday.
Well, we could only do it the 14th if everybody promises they've taken care of their significant other for Valentine's Day.
Oh,
You know,
okay.
because you're not gonna leave here and then think you're going to a florist to get anything.
Got it. Maybe we should sell flowers.
Yeah, there you go.
Right, hey, just in case. All right.
Go have some hot.
Good idea.
yeah,
Put
we
it
have
towards the
hot
fund.
tea. Yeah. All right. I think we're all set, Andrew. Go feel better.
Okay, and if anything else pops up, just shoot me an email. I can
Sure.
check my phone and stuff. Obviously, I'm not going right to bed, but I might lay down.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Andrew.
All right, thank you. All right, take care, everybody. See you next month.
Two.
See you next month.
Bye.
So looking at the week of the 12th.
All right. Andrew did send along, because I was dealing with Paul and the sewer department. They evidently have agreed that because what you and I talked about, the kitchen won't be used daily, checking maintenance, checking and maintaining the trap can be included in custodial duties. Cost for having it emptied can be included in rental fees where kitchen use is included, maybe cleaning can be done on a usage basis, and he did suggest that maybe that might work, that the sewer department would be agreeable to that. You know, so much water going, so much usage and then clean it, so I would just have to, rather than this fixed quarterly thing that, you know, was being proposed.
And my understanding is nobody submits reports.
That's what I understand as
to
well.
the
Yeah, you don't.
sanitary district about how their traps are cleaned.
Right.
And, you know, the bakery doesn't, Packard Activity doesn't. The general store doesn't.
But we were
Quick
being
Shop.
asked to.
Poorly. If we can do, well, see, exactly, because I think the easiest thing to get through would have been the big thing with 700 gallons outside.
An extreme amount of money, which makes no sense.
Right,
For the
right,
amount of
right,
use.
The rationale was that the interior ones are easier to bypass. If there's a problem, you just, you know, but if there's a problem, you want to get it fixed.
Right,
It's my-
right.
So that's where, and so he agreed and I submitted the application that apparently is okay. But they were waiting for information on what the product was that was gonna be used on the inside, and so Andrew did send along this. And I have a copy, you see Jimmy. No, Jimmy wouldn't be doing that, it's the plumber. that would-
Exactly. The plumber's
yeah,
doing that.
the plumber-
Jimmy, yeah,
is the
Jimmy
digging-
just
the
needs to
digger, right,
hook us up.
right, exactly.
Once
okay.
they bless the permit,
Right.
yeah.
Right, so, okay, so that would be, we can send that to the plumber. All right, so at this point, that seems to be,
I don't
Under
think they've
control.
met yet, right? This
well, this will
sanitary
be
district.
it'll be, their first meeting will be tomorrow.
Okay.
See, I had it
Handle it,
through
yeah.
them the right time, December,
But then they didn't have a meeting. 'cause
Right.
Nobody had any power, so.
right, because so now, so we should be hearing something soon. Because the goal was, of course, to get Jim in there to dig,
Yeah.
before we had 5 feet of frost. So, okay. Now, the other thing is Jim did submit a bill for the work that was done to relieve the problem caused by the demo
For this building.
for this building. So that therein lies a question. Justin did say, what is it? I explained what it was. And he wasn't necessarily opposed to the town picking it up, but you know, since it was related to this, you know, what are our wishes, thoughts, discussions?
Who caused the damage?
Almighty. What's your feeling on it, Doug? For the town to pick up the repair of this that Almighty Waste caused, because whether or not, okay,
I feel the same way.
I do too.
I do too.
I don't think we should have to pay for it.
Yeah. So, because it was gonna get torn down one way or the other,
Correct.
so
Right,
whether it
regardless.
was, whether we were doing this project or not,
Mm-hmm.
so.
And he wasn't opposed to that.
Yeah.
He just wanted to know what our opinions were
Okay.
and whatnot, so.
Yeah.
I can send him a note
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And say, you know, because it was gonna be taken down, the premises, it was gonna be removed anyways. And isn't necessarily part of the renovation.
Right.
Yeah.
That's my
Okay.
feeling too.
All right.
We no longer have any of that retained money from Almighty, so.
So,
Okay.
all right,
Wow.
I will send that along to him. Okay. Anything else? Any other comments, questions, or concerns about the project status? Where we are and what we're doing?
I was certainly glad to see not one of the big trees come crashing
Oh.
down into that building
Yeah.
with that windstorm.
Oh.
Jeff and I stopped, that week. I think it was Thursday after the storm, and we walked out back and, there were some big limbs and some branches,
Mhm.
but they missed the back of the building and
Right.
the brand new windows.
Yeah, I was
So-
Oh,
like,
geez.
oh dear Lord.
Those big
Please.
pines out back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a tree, a pine come down from the neighbors down by our camp. And seriously, it missed our camp by maybe 6 inches.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like,
Oh, yeah. Crazy, crazy.
All right, I will adjust the budget document that has
oh, the.
pocket on here. So basically remaining in the phase one budget is 384,391 for the balance of the work that needs to be done come springtime.
Mhm.
And that's, of course, we're going to have the 2600 back in,
Okay,
but that's the status we've to date without the 2600 or with the 2600, we've paid 1.3. That all makes sense?
Mhm.
Okay. With that said, Dixon O'Day has submitted a requisition through November 30 for $61,908.24. Looked through it, it looked pretty reasonable, but then when it takes a little bit of time and review.
They were just working on, mill work and finishing up the windows. and-
Yeah. In the general condition
Yeah.
that they're dealing with. We did some work on the bell tower.
1,000.
Oh.
Wow.
Rough carpentry, 10,000, finished carpentry, 6. Finished carpentry on the change order, 1,600, millwork, another 11,000. Windows, 1,900, almost 2,000, and paint and exterior trim, 2,100. Rounding, of course, so.
Oh, and also renting that bucket,
Mhm.
that's substantial.
Yeah, the lift,
Yeah.
yeah, they're not cheap.
Doesn't the town own one?
Probably not a boom lift.
Not a boom lift.
Hey, the school has one that you can get into and it goes up so you can put the banners up and fix the lights up in the ceiling in the gym. That's not tall enough?
So do we have a motion to accept the $1,000 $61,980.24 invoice for next to no day for work done in November. Second,
No, second it.
Larry second, all in favor?
Can we put our hand half up?
The boom actually though, Lori, that not only helped with the roof, but it really saved some money with some of the masonry.
Right,
and the
right.
work too, so.
I know.
They're expensive, I know, I just had to, I marched out to my back office and said, why am I spending $8,000 a month? For forklifts up in Skowhegan? Oh, one of them's on TNM, okay, that's good, thank the good Lord. Okay, and then Paul Design is invoice $720, $125 for Paul, and then for the designer, I'm giving the end of $595. We have a motion to accept Paul's invoice for $720.
I move we accept that invoice.
I'll second that.
Second, thank you, Larry. All in favor? Thank you. Takes care of the monetary part. I will send it off to Justin. Even if we think it's part of the other. Right, yeah. Now, do you have any select board?
I don't have
updates?
anything exciting, wasn't discussed at the last select board meeting, other than me saying it's on our radar. We haven't met and come up with a date yet, but we've got a meeting coming up and we'll come up with a date and the numbers, but I haven't forgotten it, so.
So if we let them know that we're looking at the week
Yeah.
of February, maybe they can give
Can
us some.
give us some yay or
feedback.
nay. Mark is gone. I'm not sure if that's the week he might be back in February, because he's gone to Florida. He's coming back for the gun show at the fishing game, and I think that might be when
In
he's
the-
back.
Okay,
So that might work for him,
okay,
because I do want Mark to be
Yeah,
able to
absolutely.
see it for sure,
Absolutely.
doing what he does.
yeah,
So that might work that week, so.
okay. How does that fall with the select board?
With that.
So the next meeting is the 10th, right?
Yes.
No, yeah,
Yeah, we have a meeting. Yep, so that's the week that there isn't a meeting. If it's the week of the 12th, there isn't a meeting that week. They have the meeting on the 7th and the
7th and
21st.
the 21st, okay. All right,
So we need to have our meeting like the 5th.
yeah, I would say. So that we can present, get the things on the warrant for the 14th. So we good, we'll jump right into that.
Sorry, I didn't mean to,
That's
like-
okay, that's okay, since we're talking dates, could everybody do the 5th?
Yep. The 5th is good.
Okay.
And I really haven't, I checked with Justin, there hasn't been any big donations that that hasn't changed much there. I looked on the Margaret Burnham Trust site. They say they're supposed to notify their people by the end of the year. But I haven't seen anything, nothing's listed on their website yet. I haven't gotten any email, neither has Steve, so that was one he did in October and was supposed to be decided on, but who knows how things go between that storm and Christmas. I think everybody's schedule.
Well, and
Oh, the
the
window.
shooting that happened in October,
Oh, yeah.
really, you know,
Things were weird, so.
Yeah,
So I haven't heard anything there today when Steve and I were emailing about him not coming to this meeting. I said, well, now we're at a point we can resubmit to Stephen King Foundation, Libra and Althon, because we're in a
it's the
new year.
Okay.
So whenever he's back in fighting shape, you know, he'll probably start working on that. And I also sent an email to Bianca Cloutier at Bates, and I keep forgetting to bring that magazine up, that Down East magazine that
Mhm.
we were in.
Yeah,
And I have a copy of it and I meant it to bring it to last meeting and I didn't bring it today either, but anyway. So I sent Bianca an email asking how sales went for Christmas. And she had mentioned when she told me about that, that they were getting ready to send like a $600 check for sales over the summer. And I haven't seen that hit our spreadsheet. You know, if they
That it
send it to
came.
the town, that
Right.
it came. So I asked her about that again
Yeah.
too. So, cause Justin has a spreadsheet with all the donations and.
oh, does he?
Yes,
Okay.
that's what I get from
Mhm.
Justin is this, that whenever I drop off checks or whatever, it goes onto this spreadsheet, so we have a running tally, but. And I told Bianca about putting the note in the memo and all of that, so I'd assume that they'd figure out,
What it was
you know,
for.
what it was
Yeah.
for, so. Whether or not they hadn't sent it or whatever, but anyway, so there's a couple things I'm waiting on there to see, so. Okay.
Right. Public comment, we have none. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I move we adjourn.
Wow, look at that.
Well, you guys have another meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
Second,
Six
all in favor?
37 p.m.
Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, so.
That works.
So if I send a note out to Justin, will he be able to give me contacts for the different committee heads, or should I just ask him to? What's the right, I don't wanna,
Yeah, I would ask him how he wants to invite people and also how he wants to